All right, my darling, I'm going to share with you 3 things that you should not do with a woman, but in the bedroom. I'm filming in a different place because I'm filming in my actual bedroom. I don't actually record in my bedroom. Did you know that the other room that I do my recordings in is not my bedroom? Why? Because you can't see where all the action happens, man. Come on. What do you think this is? OnlyFans? Nah, this is YouTube. We're selling you real information here that can change your life. You know what they say? You can give a man a fish, feed him for a day, or you can teach a man to fish and feed him for life. Well, that's OnlyFans is just giving you fish. But I'm teaching you how to fish for the rest of your life. So get right into it. Let's get right into it. I can't even talk. Oh, so the reason why I'm filming here is because I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm on my cycle right now. And you're like, Arica, do you really need to tell men that you're on your cycle? Well, you're like my homies. So brothers from another mother, whatever you want to consider yourself in my life. But yeah, I do feel inclined to tell you that. So I have a big belly right now. And I just don't want you to see that, if I'm just being really honest with you. So yeah, that's why I'm filming from here. So welcome. I'm Arica Angelo. I've been doing this for 17 years now. Let's get into it. So in the bedroom, there are certain things that a man does for us women that really leaves a mark on us. Like, wow, this guy really cares. Let me just break it down like this. There are things that you can do for us that all of a sudden elevate you in our eyes, that make us feel more connected with you, that entice us to want to be intimate with you over and over and over again. But there are also things that you can do that completely destroy the vibe, that kills the connection, that makes you come across as a selfish asshole. And I want you to avoid those things because the reality is you may make some of the mistakes that I'm going to share with you. And you may be making them not because you're a selfish asshole, but because no one's ever told you. You don't know not to do these things. And so that's why it's really important that I share with you not only what not to do, but what you should be doing. And if you are new here, would you please subscribe to my channel? Actually, it's just clicking a button, you know? If I'm going to teach you how to click a clit, then you can click that subscribe button. Like what I did there? Sure you did. So when we are making love to you, we're in the bedroom with you. It's so vulnerable to be naked in front of you. And I think guys are actually much more confident. And there are some men that just should not be confident in the bedroom. I'm just like, have you looked at yourself lately? Like, I feel like guys could be a little bit more conscious about their physical representation in this world. I'm just saying, go out and you'll see tons of like hot chicks and not so many good looking guys. So I'm just saying, I feel like men, that's not even part of the advice here, but I'm just saying. Anyways, most men are pretty comfortable if they have a belly or something like that going into the bedroom. Women, no. We've been wired our entire lives to be insecure, to look like a model, to be this thin, to have this perfect body, to not have any spots, to not have a hair, to not have this. Can you imagine? I'm sure you can. Maybe you get inundated with, you should be making more money, and that makes you feel insecure. For women, we've been bullied a lot with our bodies and why they should be so perfect. So when you guys want to make love to us and you're like, can we just leave a little bit of the lights on? Because of course you do want to see her body. And I know you're not as judgmental as we are to ourselves. Like I really appreciate that about men, that you guys are not near as harsh towards our bodies as we are towards our own bodies. So thank you guys for that. You guys don't hear thank you enough. Thank you for that. But the reality is it's super vulnerable for us. It makes us really nervous. And most of the time when you're making love to us, we are in our head. And so your job as a masterful lover is to get a woman out of her head and back into her body. In fact, if you could just comment out of her head so that you and I know that that is one of the biggest missions when it comes to making love to a woman. So the worst thing you want to do is do things that get a woman into her head, judging you, assessing that maybe you are an asshole when you're really not. All those things. The last thing you want to do is to give her an opportunity to get in her head. So how do you help a woman get back into her body? How do you do this? And the last one that I'm going to share with you, I know I haven't even shared the first one, but the last one, Just please don't. Just please don't. I'm sorry. It just came to my mind. I'm looking at my bed and I'm like, no, please don't ever do this ever. But let's stick with the first one. When you're a masterful lover, what makes you different from every other man is not what you think it is. It's not the size of your penis. It's not the size of your wallet. It's not, what are the other things that men who are struggling and want to feel like victims complain about? They always complain about, if you just have money. And it's like, yeah, there's plenty of guys out there with no money and they're getting a lot of putang. And they're like, oh, you just have to have if you have a big dong, then everyone will. Okay, there are a lot of guys with big dongs who are not getting as much as guys with little dongs. What sets these guys apart? What makes them masterful lovers? Well, one, they probably got a hold of my program called Mastering Intimacy, and they know the psychology of making a woman feel safe in her mind, but also how to bring pleasure to her body in a masterful way. And you can get access to that in my comment section in the description as well. But your goal is to get her out of her head and into her body. And I know you want those lights on just a little bit. This is what you don't want to say. Are you ready? Biggest mistake that men make with women is when you turn on the lights and you begin to say critical things about her or her body. Trust me, she's already thinking this. I have heard, thank God I have not experienced these men, but from other women I've heard men complain about their hair being too thin. They've complained about their breasts not being as perky or having a little extra fat around the belly. And I know the guys who are watching my channel, you're like, what a-hole would do that? But believe it or not, the minute that you even try to poke fun at her body, you have just imagine her legs crossing like this, and then someone coming with some massive chains and just wrapping it around her knees. That's about how much access she's going to give you. This is a huge mistake when you begin to criticize a woman's body in the bedroom. Just don't freaking do it. Don't even like, it was a joke. It was a joke. Most people who make jokes about other people, it's because they're insecure themselves, and so they're trying to deflect and project on the other person. But I beg of you, whatever you do, please do not become critical of a woman's body. Don't talk about, her nipples are wrong, or her boobs are different in different places, whatever the case may be, or that she's got some extra skin on her arms, or just don't make it critical about her body. The minute that you do that, I promise you it's gonna stay stuck in her mind. If there are things that she needs to improve, in the bedroom is the worst time to have that conversation. So do not be critical of her body. That is a huge mistake. Here is the other thing that most men do, and it's a big mistake with women, and that is assuming that they know what she wants. And one of the biggest places that men do this is when they are around our clitoris area. I've shared with you, there's some meme going around. It's like these 6 basic looking guys. It's like, this picture screams, I just rubbed your clit for 4 minutes and I'm asking if you've come yet. And some guys just think because they saw it on a porn, or that they've heard about going down on a woman, that they just do this thing and then that's it. No. Don't assume that your skills are correct. And what I mean by that is, I'll tell you something very beautiful. There was a gentleman who was just telling me, European, and I was like, this is for Europeans. I don't think that Americans grow up this way. But he was like, well, Arica, all you have to do is listen to a woman's body and pay attention to a woman's body. I'm like, yeah, but some men don't think like that. Some men just make assumptions because they saw it in porn or they've been told this is what you do, that they don't actually pay attention to a woman's body. So I talk about this in my tongue magic when you're going down on a woman, that it's not one side or the other. You need that polarity. You need a bit of that firmness. But then there's also that call for some gentleness. And having that polarity when you're going down on us is huge. But if you just assume, and you can also get that in the comment section in the description of how to actually go down on a woman. Most guys don't know how to do it. Most guys are doing a bad job. Most women are just constantly saying, I don't like it down there, which I've shared it 10 times, but that means she doesn't like the way you go down. So make sure you get that program. The reality is when you've seen something on porn or you've heard you should do something, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a master at doing that. You know you're a master when her body is releasing fluids, when you're down between her legs and she's about to crunch and break your neck open like a what were those pecans? Remember those? I was little, like they had the pecan crunchers. You put a pecan there. Yeah, when she's ready, your neck off or your head off because she can't take any more of the pleasure. That's when you know you've done a good job. But if she's just laying there and you don't see any goosebumps coming up on her legs, you don't see the body fidgeting, you're not doing a good job. The worst thing, the biggest mistake you can do is assume that what you're doing she likes and you're not paying attention to her body. Pay attention to her body. Then you will never have to second guess yourself as to whether or not you're doing it right. And you can also see through whether or not she's lying to you just because she wants you to hurry up or she doesn't want to hurt your feelings. No, you want to be a masterful lover. You want to make sure that you're bringing her to that ultimate pleasure, and you want to be able to see and read and feel that on her body. So don't just assume that what you're doing is what she likes. Here is the last one, and it's just, some guys just don't know, but when you do this right, you will come across as so elegant, so thoughtful, so chivalrous, like, oh my God, he's such a gentleman. He's so romantic. He's so, when those adjectives start flying off the tip of our tongue or start going through our mind, and he was so lovely, and he did this, and he did that. Man, she's just glued to you. Like, this is when you know she ain't never going nowhere. Like, she's making you home. Is when she starts talking about you this way. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe he did this. Oh my, you would not believe what he did. So you want her saying those things. And here is another huge, 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 huge mistake that men make with women, especially in the bedroom, is when you make love to a woman and it's messy. It's a mess. If you're having sex right, I'm sorry, it's messy. Like those of you who are germaphobes, you're gonna have to work through that. You're gonna have to do some nervous system work and work through that. Sex is a messy ordeal. And the messier it is, the better it is. Let's just be honest. But after we've given our body over to you, and yes, there's a mess. There's saliva everywhere because you've been doing a good job. You got tongue magic. You know, you've been kissing all the right places. So there's saliva everywhere. You've been masterfully implementing everything I showed you, mastering intimacy. So yeah, maybe there's saliva all over the place. Maybe there's sweat everywhere. And obviously there's lots of bodily fluids like cum all over the place. Obviously, because you're a master at intimacy. You've been getting my programs. You've been implementing them. So yeah, things have gotten messy. You're like, Arica Angelo, you've made my life very messy, and I thank you for it. But what you want to do is when she has just given her body over to you, and it is a gift. It is a real gift when a woman gives you her body. But now it's the aftermath. And women, we can resort right back into feeling insecure. Just like at the beginning, we can go right back to feeling insecure in the end. Like, okay, I just gave him this gift. Now, is he still going to appreciate me? Is he still going to respect me? Is he still going to, want deep connection with me? All these questions can go through our mind. What can you do? You can show her respect and show her that you really do value her by doing something so simple, which is taking a warm, damp cloth and to begin to clean her. Now, some women will be like, that is so sweet of you, I'll do it myself. But man, if you can be that man that's like, no, darling, I made this mess and I will happily clean it up. And when you take a warm cloth, obviously no one wants a cold cloth, but when you take a nice warm cloth and you begin to clean her off, and then maybe go and kiss her right afterwards, like so clean her off and then give her a kiss, that is so sexy. But what you do not want to do is just roll over and walk off to the restroom and clean yourself off. This is a huge mistake when you don't show her care after the end of making love. It is a disaster, man. It will shut down her heart, it will break the connection, and it will show her that you're not as caring, you don't value her as much. Those lack of gestures actually will speak volumes to her, so just don't make that mistake. So I love you guys. I hope you've subscribed. Now here is a whole playlist of videos that I highly encourage you to start watching right away. You've got this. You can be the masterful lover. I'll see you in those next videos.